If you throw my phone into an audience, you get an uppercut.
So what's the story here? Chris Brown threw somebody's phone.
Chris Brown brought this girl up on the stage to do like a sexy dance on her on a chair, and he's working his shit. Fucking Chris Brown in it out. You know what I mean? He's doing his thing. And she takes her phone out and she starts like recording or doing like an IG live or some shit like that. And then he notices like she doesn't give a fuck about him dancing of her. She just wants the clout. She just wants to get that clout real quick. So he takes that fucking phone and tosses that shit into the crowd. And she's like, ah!
Joey, you might be in charge of getting us to this next topic.
Yeah. Talking about topics.
You don't have the sheet pulled up to you.
This is gonna be a rough one. When you achieve, like, let's say any of us, we either won the lottery, one of us, does really well on this podcast, and we rocket up into superstar status. Should you let go of your old ways and stay out of trouble, or change the people you hang out with? Now,
so you're saying, should I keep doing my hood rat shit then? Like, if I get my come up, should I keep doing that?
Now that I realize how this is framed, this is all about Ja Morant. So Ja Morant recently flashed a gun. He went to the strip club. Nothing wrong with going to a strip club, paying. You're just being you're just being a human being by at that point. If you go to a strip club, stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But apparently he's been doing a lot of hot boy stuff. I did not know that he was this. I didn't know he was this neighborhood. I didn't know like that he was really about that. But apparently he is very about that life, and he was trying to prove it these past like week and a half, 2 weeks. And he got caught under fire, and a lot of people are criticizing him. You had who is this? These two guys, the black guy Shannon Sharp, and this other guy went into him, and then Stephen A. Smith, and then another guy was defending him, and it was a big conversation. So when you think once you guys achieve like superstar status, are you gonna stay the same person, or do you have to change?
I mean, I think you absolutely change. Just the things you start to consume, the habits you start to form, the new activities you participate in. Like, of course, you're going to be different. I do find it shitty that, like, for some professions, you do need to change your situation.
Yeah.
Like, if you are a rapper, let's say, and you live in the ghetto, and part of your whole shtick is like you're a gang member and you're doing all this gang banging and all this stuff. It's like staying in the hood is gonna attract an amount of attention and is gonna get you caught up in some bullshit. Like, we've seen plenty of rappers that just stood in the hood for too long and they just get shot and killed. And it's like, our reaction is always like, man, once you made it, you need to get the fuck up out the hood. There's too many haters. There's too many people that maybe don't like you from back in the day. Now you're like a target because you're successful and all that type of shit. But I don't think it's the same for other professions, though.
But there's a flip side to that too, though, right? Because we talked about this on the podcast before, where if you do leave the hood and you start leaving that behind, they're like, oh, he's not actually from the hood anymore. He's not repping what the shit that he talks about in his songs.
Yep. He left. He dipped out. He went to go live with the white people. They'll say all sorts of shit. So that's what keeps a lot of these artists, like Young Dolph got killed, Bankroll Fresh. I could just go down the line. Chinks Drugs from French Montana's people. They all went back to they all got killed in their neighborhood that they grew up in. So it's like, where's like, everyone is out to prove a point, right? But like, is that point worth proving? Should you go that hard to prove that you're like the manliest man in the room? I think Ja. Go ahead.
It's a question of identity, right? Like it's like the Eminem thing. This is a weird example, but he raps about this in some of his songs. But he talks about there's a line where he's like they say that I can't rap about being broke anymore, blah blah blah, because he was a fucking multimillionaire at that point in his career. And there's this identity issue of like what I rapped about was all the struggles I had coming up, and now I don't have those struggles. So is my sound still authentic? Is my message still authentic because I can't rap about this shit anymore? What do I rap about now that my problems are I have too much money and people want to use me and things like that?
Yeah, I agree. I think personally, that's a big issue with hip hop is when you see these artists that started out, and they're rapping one way, and in order to continue rapping that way, they have to continue living like this rugged sort of life. And I think it gets very mixed up. You have the whole YSL case in Atlanta, and they want to be a gang so bad. They want to, you know what I mean? The lines of business and gang like were intersecting, and it shit just doesn't work out.
So what is the solution? Like what would y'all do? Let's say you got some kind of come up in the next like month or so. Are you changing your ways, or what would y'all do in this kind of situation?
Definitely I'm about being professional, and like if I'm in a profession of any sort of way, that's going to be my life. You know what I mean? I got to make sure I protect that and continue that and build whatever I'm trying to build there. It's like even if I became a chef, like let's say I became a famous chef. You know what I mean? That doesn't really change anything about the neighborhood you live in and stuff like that. But you want to be about your profession. So would I move closer to my job? Yeah. I'd probably move out of my neighborhood and like go downtown and live closer to like the restaurants and try to like soak up that scene, try new dishes, and that'll be my life. You would probably not see me. You see me grow on this channel wide, probably become a fat fuck because I'm like trying out all the best. You know what would be cool though? I would like to get into infused cooking with like THCs and stuff like that, create the right dishes.
That's a movement right now, dude. Little like pot restaurants, boutique restaurants like that are opening up.
Yeah. Not too much marijuana, but like just the right amount to give you like a nice buzz. Like the steak, you're gonna eat that steak. That steak is gonna get you lit, and it's gonna give you like a little nice high. And you're like, yo, this is fire. Something like that.
But yeah, I like the idea of staying true to yourself, right? Like I think there's a lot of like to respect in that. And granted, like the situation I painted is different for us. Like none of us are involved in. We're not running the streets. Anyone on this podcast, I don't think, unless there's some very secret like Second Life things going on here. I don't know what Tony's free time looks like.
Yeah, I mean, for my current living situation, I'm living in a pretty decent neighborhood. So, like, if I were to achieve, like, some rapid success, unless it was, like, crazy public, I just wouldn't really change much or anything at all. But if I was still living in the hood, like, by my mother's crib or where we grew up back in the day, like, I'd get the fuck up out of there in a heartbeat. Like, I'll take the L of not being authentic anymore or of, like, losing my hood credibility or whatever. I would take that L in order to like secure the bag for my future and for my family and shit like that. Like
it's so weightless. It's so like if you think about it, these are just words. These are just whose credibility? Like, what is this? The FICO hood rating? You got a FICO hood score? Like, who is there? A HR for this fucking department? Like, where? This is when you think about it. It's so simple. It's like, yeah, of course you're gonna fucking fuck all this bullshit. So yeah, I don't know. I think it's a little bit funny when people talk about that, and it just is very weird to me. that someone has to stay so authentic. I used to be very into it when I was young. Like, yeah, he's Jeezy, he's real authentic. Gucci Man is real authentic, all right? Gucci Man is so authentic that in his first song, I'm So Icy, he paid a crackhead to do the fucking hook. And the guy, and I'm so icy. That's a crackhead that he made. It's fucking hilarious.
Did not know that.
It's very authentic, all right? So it's just, back in the day, it was very important to me. Those type of things. Those little fun facts, all right?
I will say this, as much as I'm telling people to get the fuck up out the hood and all of that, there's certainly a dip in music quality. Those first albums in hip hop where everybody's going through that struggle, they got so much pain and so much trauma and all this stuff to like tap into and to make music. And once they make it and they get out the hood and all of that, the music changes. And it's not necessarily worse, but for me, it tends to be less interesting. Like, I don't want to hear you rap about your success. I only want to hear about your troubles, and it's shitty, but
I think Biggie is one of the only artists that I actually really enjoy hearing rap about his success. I think the way that he frames things, the way that he words things, the way that he kind of like presents the two sides together at the same time, I enjoy it. I think that he's probably the best at doing that.
I never knew who that fat bitch Delarice was until I looked him up. I was like, who's Delarice? And it was it's like a funny thing. Back in the day, it was like a show. A woman called Delarice, just big woman. But it was nice. I was like, yeah,
what's
awesome.
the context?
I don't know. I just Biggie, and then he just, provided me a lot of his talking about his youth and shit like that. Okay. I liked it. Big L was another big one for me. If he should have got out the hood, like he was one of the best rappers in New York, and being from the hood, and you know what I mean. Yeah, man. Everybody, his music to me is the only like old New York music that has like transcended time, and I'm like, okay, this sounds very old, but this also is very fire.
Yeah, Big L's just like a master of his craft, and but he got shot apparently 9 times in the face.
Oof.
Or something absurd like that. So like, he got, and I think it was mistaken identity. I don't think they meant to kill that guy. I think they thought it was somebody else or some shit like that. And like Stack Bundles got shot too, like similar situation, just being in the hood type of shit. Like,
it's just not worth it.
I mean, there's some aspect of this that's beyond their control, right? Like if you're in a gang, I don't imagine that just because you make it, the gang is going to be like, yeah, you're good now, dude. just go on and do your thing. You're out.
I have heard that there are athletic players that were in gangs. And I'm sure that the gang is like, you know what I mean? Don't say nothing about it. You do your thing. You know what I mean? You make that legal money and you give us a little kickback every once in a while. But I don't think even the gangs are like trying to, because even it was the big thing in rap. You remember in the 2010s, 2015s? Oh, everybody was blood. Pyru, everybody was blood. Everybody was throwing up the Big B's and Chris Brown and everybody. I'm like, Jesus Christ. So that was like a big thing back in the day too. And I never understood. I mean, I guess I understand the appeal, but
I would uppercut Chris Brown if he threw my phone into the crowd.
Yeah,
it's a big dude.
He still gets an uppercut if you throw my phone into an audience. You get an uppercut.
Yeah.
So what's the story here? Chris Brown threw somebody's phone.
Yeah, Doey knows. Doey knows. Yeah.
So Chris Brown brought this girl up on the stage to do like a sexy dance on her on a chair, and he's working his shit. Fucking Chris Brown in it out, you know what I mean? He's doing his thing, and she takes her phone out and she starts like recording or doing like an IG live or some shit like that. And then he notices like she doesn't give a fuck about him dancing of her. She just wants the clout. She just wants to get that clout real quick. So he takes that fucking phone and tosses that shit into the crowd. And she's like, ah!
That's a shitty thing to do.
Yeah, very shitty thing to do. He felt like he was more important than her, her wanting to get the clout off. Which I don't get why he wouldn't just let her record. It's weird.
It feels like it's just the expected thing now. You get on stage, you're getting that video going.
Yeah, facts. It seems very selfish. She's like, nuh-uh, only I can get this attention. It just feels very weird.
Just throw my unlocked phone into a crowd. Get out of here.
Yeah, I think somebody else did it too. Somebody else did that. Lil Uzi or someone.
That's wild.
Yeah. But what about this hypothetical? This podcast makes it fucking booming, fucking Joe Rogan status, bro. Spotify deals, fucking Pucho becomes the next Joe Budden, and just like at all the fucking people that come on this podcast, he just like, why are you so happy as a rapper? It's like, what then? Do we stop? Do we move out of our houses? I don't think I need to move out of my neighborhood. You know what I mean?
I think we should move to a common place and get like a studio or something. That's obvious.
That would probably be the move. And the best way to do it would be to move to some just somewhere in the middle, like Ohio or something, somewhere where it's just cheap to live.
Pucho says no. I wanted to go to Jupiter, Florida. And you said, fuck you. What are you talking about, Jupiter, Florida?
Where is Jupiter, Florida at?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, bro. That's a cool location. Coming live from you, Jupiter, Florida.
The problem is you gotta go to a place that's popping. Like you gotta be in New York,
Miami,
or LA, or Miami.
Yeah,
because
you're right.
If you want people like popular guests and stuff like that, these are cities where people are gonna be. Like, there's a lot of buying to get somebody to fly to bumfuck Ohio. You know what I mean? Like,
what if we set up shop in the Electric City in Scranton?
Ooh. There's no international. Yeah, you would have to have like an international airport.
We could film all our episodes inside that Chili's that they recorded that Office episode from.
What about good old Palm Beach? Just a big old headquarters in Palm Beach.
Palm Beach is going to be underwater in about 15 years, dude.
Right?
That ocean is rising.
Yeah, that's been the claim to fame. They keep building seawalls up on those private rich people islands and shit. Shit keeps raising every year, bro. This is ridiculous.
Oh, we're here with our co-host Tony El Caballo.
Yeah, co-hosting today.
He's coming in hot.
Yeah,
we were talking about the last topic, which I'm guessing you put up because of Ja Morant. Like,
facts.
You won't talk about it. Spit your facts. I want to hear what you want to talk about.
Rundown. If you're in sports,
you don't got to intro it. Just what's
I'm not introing it. If you're in sports,
go ahead, hit a spiel.
If you're in,
just talk about it.
If you're in sports and
go ahead, Tony.
You make millions of dollars, right? And you think for some reason you still gotta act hood, act gangster, act reckless when you got $1 million contracts. You gotta, once you sign that paper, that contract, you gotta act a certain way in and outside of the court, handle yourself, there's things that you agree with. Why the fuck are you fucking up the bag to put an image out first off, Ja Morant was never known as a gangster. He had both his parents, real name Clarence, went to private school and all. He did all that shit, right? Boy, I put this stunt up, posting Instagram pics with guns, doing a lot of dumb shit. I do think, and it's not just him, just across the whole, sports in general. It's just like, carry yourself a certain way, because at the end of the day, that's your job, right? It's something you love to do. It's fun, it's whatever, but that's a job. Like, all of us, we can't go to our jobs and fucking smoke weed at the office, get drunk, come in, leave whenever. You can't do that. You got to handle yourself a certain way. And I think it's really your friends.
This man sounds a little bit like Stephen A. Smith up here. Stephen A. Smith hates marijuana. Why does he hate people smoking weed so much?
I don't hate it. I don't use it. I don't hate it and I don't use it. I'm just saying, that's just like one of those things to where people live for their friends. Like what, you know what I mean? Like, if all my friends were gangsters and hood niggas and all did all this shit and still in the set, and I'm $1 million ball player, I should not really be hanging out with them.
What if you were to use your money to elevate your friends and get them out of that lifestyle? Is that something that you think is worth trying to do if you're in that position?
Yeah. Like, if you guys are we grew up together, you guys watched my back through high school and fought for me and watched my back. Yeah, I'm going to bring y'all up. I'm like, yo, let's get out the hood, bro. Y'all boys don't got to live that life no more. And you're willing to change? Fuck it. And we chilling. If not, you have to begin to separate yourself. It's going to cause friction with the set, with your crew, whatever. But you're going to have to separate yourself, because at the end of the day, you got to provide for yourself or your family or whoever. And if your friends can't see that, yo, we got to stop acting a certain way. We got to stop living like this. I got it. I'm going to give it to y'all. Let's move up. You got to let people go. It's better to cut ties with people that are not going to elevate you or you know, or not willing to see that, hey, I might fuck around and get him fucked up. Let me not do that. I don't know. It's just a maturity factor, I think, too. Like, I don't know. I think it is dumb, though. People do need to change who or what they do. You don't need to go back to the hood and act like you're still part of the set, or do whatever the fuck it is you're doing. You know what I mean? You don't got to do that no more once you're rich.
I don't disagree with most of that. I think that there is. I mean, you see this with the lotto, right? Like like people that win the lotto, their lives statistically get worse. Like, they get much worse after they win the lotto. And getting drafted to an NBA team or an NFL team or something like that is kind of the same thing. You suddenly have all the money in the world, and it feels like the sports organizations themselves could support that a little bit better, to give people coaching on how to manage themselves, I guess, like take care of themselves, make sure that money's not going to screw up their lives.
That's why you got to have a good manager. Like, if I become like rich in the sport team or whatever, I'll get somebody like a Pucho or Ever or my cousin or whatever to tell me, yo, cause y'all not afraid to tell me when I'm fucking up. Y'all be the first to try to call my shit out. Like, you need somebody like that. When you're rich and you're famous or you're an athlete or a superstar, you need someone to humble you down and to tell you, yo, you're fucking wildin'. What you're doing right now, you know. Let's
usually,
you know,
usually your accountant is the one that's telling you that. If you have one that's honest, and usually your accountant is like, this is not gonna last.
I mean, you get into I've heard you get into situations like this, though, when you're like that wealthy and you're surrounded by people that people just aren't, like Tony's right. Like, people just aren't telling you that. There's not a Pucho in your life being like, that you can be like, hey man, am I bugging? And they're going to be like, yeah, you're bugging real hard. Calm down. They're going to be like, nah, that's all on Doey. That's all on Mateo. They're being over the top.
Nah, yeah.
I think when you're successful, a bunch of yes men come around you because they think
that's what
like,
you want.
all right, if we just like reinforce this guy's opinions or worldviews and things like that, that he'll keep us along for the ride. Like, you know, everything will be all kosher and you know, but yeah, unfortunately for the person involved, yeah, you do need pushback. You need reality checks and shit.
You need
like that.
someone that's gonna keep you a Hebrew national with it. You know what I mean? Kosher.
Oh, okay. I didn't know where you were going.
I didn't know where that statement was going.
I was like, you better fix this.
Keep things kosher with you.
Yeah, I remember last time the Hebrews came up, it got crazy around here.
But
I thought it was gonna be something about hot dogging or something.
there was a video, damn it. But nah, yeah, fucking yeah. That's my take on it. It's just like, you got to change yourself, bro. The money's up. Don't get your funny up. But, you know, get right. Get right.
What?
You know, don't get your funny up.
Oh, fuck.
You never heard of that? Don't get your funny up.
Don't
I don't
get your
think
funny up.
anybody's
Get your
ever heard
money up. Is that what
Yeah.
you're saying?
Don't act stupid. Don't be dumb. Don't do dumb shit. Get your money right. Be about your money. Be about your business. Handle yourself accordingly. You know? I'm sorry that y'all don't understand slang.
You know what else you got to get up? We got to get them likes up, dude.
Facts.
Get those fucking likes
fucking
up,
likes
guys.
up. Let me get a round of applause for Mateo real quick for dropping gems for these fucking people out here. That's it. You don't need that much.
Yeah, that's fine. I'll go to my head. Surround myself by a bunch of yes men.
Yeah, I gotta humble you. But nah, yeah, man. Get your fucking subscribes up, boys. I need everybody in our friend group, friends of the family, and everybody else in there. Hit that red button. Hit the bell. Whatever the hell fucking our boy said from Australia, 2 and 1, all that shit. I need all that love.
Once we hit 500, I'm gonna pick my special person from the pod that follows us, and he'll be my golden cock ring award. He'll get the golden cock ring award, and it'll be my face.
Matter of fact, the 500 subscriber to our YouTube page, Dewey would get your name tatted on his chest live on the pod.
It's not happening.
It's already done. You got to do it now.
No, it's not happening. I'll take a shit and I'll try to spell their name out.
I don't want to see any of these things happen.
Yeah, these are all the worst ideas I've ever heard.
A tattoo of the 500 subscriber?
Yeah, that's such a bad idea. What if their name is like a troll name and it's got racial slurs and whatnot?
Yeah, it's terrible.
He's got to go with it. They got to make a fake ass account, put some dumb shit on it. But either way, I do think that you guys all said your spiel on it, I'm assuming.
Right? Yeah. I mean, we're all in agreement, honestly. Like there's you need to take care of yourself. You need to, if you're trying to elevate yourself completely in all aspects of your life. And that includes getting out of some of the nonsense that can bring you down. I like the idea of trying to elevate your friends as well. I don't know if that's always doable, but I think that it's always worth trying at least.
For sure. Because you're going to lead some horses to the water. Some of them are going to drink. Some of them are not going to drink. And they're going to want to continue going on their own way. And those people you're going to have to leave behind for sure.
Yeah, different sports and different professions lend itself to bringing your friends along for the ride. Like in basketball, I don't know what you could bring a friend around for. Like aside from like you have your own personal security or some shit like that. Like I don't know what you could do, but like in music, there's a lot of little jobs that need to get done. Like if you're a successful band, you could get your friends to join along to be some of those like roadies to like do shit and support you and all that kind of stuff. In boxing, there's like a lot of little things that need to get done.
But also, you don't need any liabilities in your entourage. True. Like in the people you're chilling with, everybody kind of has to be on the same type of time. You know what I mean? Like you're at the end of the day, the people that are chilling with Floyd Mayweather, they're a part of Floyd Mayweather's crew. They do something, it's going to be on Floyd Mayweather's name. Like how they try to beat up Jake Paul the other day.
No, absolutely. Yeah. I wouldn't be bringing around, like I would try to bring my people up, like the people I came up with and shit like that. But like, yeah, there are people I grew up with that won't come along for the ride because I know they just wouldn't be capable of acting like normal people like in society, you know?
Well, I mean, it's even some of the stuff that we run into here on this tiny, tiny little podcast where we've all, I think at this point, we've all realized like, yeah, we're a friend group, but we're also not quite a business, but like that's the approach. That's kind of some of the approaches that we've taken to the way that we interact with our social media and things like that, right?
Pucho, you bringing me with you, Pucho?
Yeah, you got a gun.
Oh, I was about to say, DK, I can't bring people that I can't handle. This man, Pucho, has given me 2 speeches in life that I looked at him crazy. 1, how to hang around my coworkers. 2, how to hang around friends that don't normally act like us, Tony. Those are the 2 conversations I had with Pucho that I was like, damn, am I that fucking bad to be with? Mind you, coworkers love me. Listen to
yourself talk.
Friends love me. His friends love me.
Listen to yourself talk.
Some people have said that Tony can take the most innocent statement, and when he restates it in Tony speak, it becomes the most vulgar thing that's ever been said.
The amount of... Yeah, the way you talk, though, like, yeah. I tell you, like, I code switch when I go to work, okay? So I code switch around my coworkers and shit like that. I don't need a bunch of ghetto bastards along for the ride ghettoing me up, all right? I put on an air of non-ghetto-ness. Okay?
Yeah,
I tell people I'm from the ghetto. I tell people I'm a ghetto bastard. But but I don't ever act like one.
As soon as I come around, he starts becoming ghetto. Like, yeah, fuck that shit, God.
Now, one time we went out to
let's go get
a
wings.
bar. One time we went to go get wings, and one of the people that were gonna be there only has one leg or one arm. So I pulled Tony to the side and I was like, bro, we're gonna be at this place. This guy has one leg. I'm just gonna mentally prepare you for this, because Tony's liable to see a person with one leg and be like, oh, what happened to your leg, bro? And then you're like, what the fuck? Like,
bro,
that ain't normal. And just like Doey said, when you bring people along, the actions of the people you bring up reflect on the person who brought them along. So that's what I'm always concerned about. Is like, I'm going to bring somebody along and they're going to say or do some crazy shit, and that's going to reflect on my character.
It's funny.
I got to check my people.
You bring someone to the house party and that person starts like, they get too drunk and they start vomiting or something. It's on you. Like, you're the one that's looked at poor. That's like, I can't believe Mateo brought this dude around and he did 20 shots in 5 minutes and then he started puking everywhere. What's wrong with Mateo that he's bringing these kind of people around?
They were like, yeah, it was a good party until Mateo came in with his friends.
Yep.
Nah, bro. Like, it's crazy because, like, I would have never, like, I don't know. Fuck it. His friends and coworkers, I don't know, maybe coworkers, they all enjoyed me that night. They all were like, oh, this guy is awesome. It's cool. I ain't do no outlandish shit, no vulgarities that came out of my mouth.
They ended the night, Tony.
That's what they were doing. Puchos in the back like, wow, this scumbag just fits well with my friends. I never need to do a speech with him. You don't, bro.
Seething.
No.
What are you talking about?
I just made that whole second
The only reason it went so well is because I spoke to you. The fuck? You would have came in and been like, just screaming the most outlandish shit, and I would have been like, oh my God. I'd be embarrassed, yeah.
Whatever. Ladies and gentlemen, if you stuck with us throughout this entirety of the episode, longer than me, always remember, thank you and go one up yourself all the time. Peace.
Later, guys.
Peace.